Hi there, welcome back to my little kitchen. I'm really happy to be back again for another episode of Cooking with Gran Luchito. Today I want to revisit Huevos Rancheros with you, and for my recipe I want to keep everything very simple and straightforward, but I want to concentrate mainly on the salsa because I feel like Huevos Rancheros is mainly about a good salsa. So for this recipe we're gonna need onion, tomatoes and chili. Those are the main components for our salsa. You see here I got some diced onions, some diced red chili. I'm gonna use some passata or tomato puree will work as well. We're gonna use some tomato cherries as well, about a cup is fine. And also we're gonna use the chipotle paste. It's gonna give it a very lovely smoky flavor to our salsa. We're also going to be using a bit of chicken stock just to add a little bit more flavor in there, and of course a little bit of chorizo, because who doesn't like chorizo in a good brunch. You're also going to need some free range eggs, about 3 to 4 you can probably fit in this salsa. And for our garnish we're going to need some spring onions, another red chili, we got some feta cheese in here, coriander, and that's it. Let's get cooking. Okay, now the first thing we're gonna be making is our salsa, because I want to give it enough time to simmer up in there and just concentrate all those lovely flavors. And I'm gonna be adding a little bit of olive oil, just about a tablespoon. The first thing I'm gonna add is the chorizo meat. So basically all I did here was to remove the casings and just leave that lovely meat ready, and I'm gonna pop it into my pan like that, and then with a wooden spoon I'm gonna break that lovely meat into the pan like this. I don't know about you, but it's just the smell of chorizo always gets me. So we're breaking our meat, lovely chorizo meat, into the pan, and it's getting all lovely and browned. It smells amazing. Right, so now once your chorizo gets a little bit of color and a little bit crispy, then what we're gonna do is remove half of the chorizo and put it away, set aside, because you're going to be using that for the garnish. And then the remaining chorizo is going to be making the salsa. Whew, that chorizo is alive. Right, so I think now it's time to remove half of that chorizo and pop it into this bowl. Like that, and I'm gonna put it on the side. Now with the remaining oil and chorizo, all the lovely chorizo oil, I'm gonna pop in the diced onion, and then we're gonna add the red chili, and finally the chipotle paste. Now a teaspoon is enough to bring all that flavor in there. And just mix it all together. Let all those lovely flavors integrate. I can already feel the chili, the chorizo, all of that coming together. So I'm stirring all those lovely flavors together, and I'm just gonna let the onion cook slowly with the chipotle and the chorizo oil and all of that until it softens. So we're just gonna leave that And in the meantime, I'm gonna slice the cherry tomatoes just roughly into quarters. They don't need to be perfect. I feel like Huevos Rancheros has to be one of the most cooked recipes outside of Mexico, and there's so many versions of it as well. So I hope that you like this recipe and you get to try it at home and tell us what you think. Yeah. Let's have a look in here. I love how the onions absorb all that chili oil and chorizo oil. So once your onion has softened up a bit like this, then I'm gonna pop in the tomatoes in there like that. Yeah, that looks perfect. So this is when I'm gonna add the passata in there like that. Make sure you use all of that lovely passata. This is a very good quality organic passata, and I honestly feel that that makes all the difference in your salsa as well. Just using good ingredients, you're always gonna get better results. Lovely. Let's add about a half a cup of chicken stock, just to add even more flavor in that. There you go. Stir it all in. And here I might add a little bit more salt and also a little bit more pepper. Seasoning is always one of the most important parts when cooking, so don't forget that. Okay, so I'm gonna let that simmer down a little bit. I want my salsa to reduce a little bit, and in the meantime I'm gonna warm up some cantina beans, because I feel that beans are always like the perfect accompaniment for Huevos Rancheros. And the best thing about this is that they're ready to go. All you need to do is to pop your beans into your pan like that, and that's it. Just warm them up and they'll be ready to go. Okay, so I have my salsa simmering away in the back, as well as my beans. So now I'm just gonna prepare a quick garnish for our eggs. And spring onions, when charred, they just have such an amazing flavor. So you're just gonna pop them on a pan with a little bit of hot oil, and you're gonna do the same with the red chili like that. Just perhaps add just tiny bit of salt in there, and just let them get a bit of color. Okay, so we've been charring away the spring onions and the chilies. Once your spring onions get a bit soft and they get that lovely charred color, that means it's ready. So I'm gonna remove them from my pan. And the chilies might need a little bit longer, so I'm just gonna leave them there while I chop away my spring onions. Oh, I love the smell of spring onions. They honestly always remind me of carne asadas in Mexico, because no matter what you are doing for a barbecue in Mexico, they always seem to pop some spring onions as well in there. That's just gonna add another layer of flavor into our huevos. Get those chilies because they look ready. And I'm gonna bring the huevos back in here, the salsa I mean, because we're gonna put the huevos in. Roughly chopping of chilies, very hot chilies, so mind your fingers. We're gonna get all of this in there. Like I said, just to add an extra layer of flavor to our already delicious huevos. Okay, our salsa has been simmering away. And look, this is exactly how I wanted it to be. And now we're ready to pop in our eggs. This salsa is enough for 3 to 4 eggs. And then just pop one by one into the mix, like that, carefully. And we're basically gonna poach the eggs into our salsa. Let's remove this to the side. And I'm gonna pop a last egg in there. Lovely. Oh, I can't wait to try this. So we're gonna let our eggs cook in there with a lid on, just to make sure the top of our eggs are fully cooked, but the yolk remains lovely and runny. Okay, so our eggs are nearly ready. I'm just gonna uncover the lid and then check. But yeah, so now if you can see, the top of the eggs it looks like it's fully cooked, but the yolks inside are still lovely and runny. So I'm just gonna turn my temperature off. So we have added the chorizo, the feta cheese, and the lovely spring onions and chilies into our huevos. That's just gonna create even like more layers of flavor in there. They're gonna taste amazing. Right, so just gonna add a tiny bit of freshly ground pepper on top and a little drizzle of oil for that last lovely touch. And let's not forget, very important, coriander. I honestly can't live without coriander. These are like the main addition into my home. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit and just roughly chop your coriander. Right, so I'm just gonna scatter that on top of my huevos. And then I'm ready to serve. How amazing do they look? And now I'm gonna show you how I serve it at home. So I normally have my beans on the side. I warm up the cantina beans previously. So I'm gonna serve this in that. Then I'm gonna bring a bowl and a couple of warm tortillas that I like to serve on the side. So you're just gonna spoon some of those delicious eggs and salsa into your plate. Look at that. I mean, they look amazing. Can't wait to try this. What about you? And then we're gonna add some of the lovely cantina beans. Perhaps a little bit more feta cheese in there. And your tortilla on the side. Ready to tuck in. This has to be the ultimate Mexican brunch. Huevos Rancheros. I hope that you love this recipe. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more recipes. Thank you so much for joining today.